Hello, we're reading from one of the best novels ever written, one of my favorite novels, George Orwell's 1984. Uh, uh, let's see. In the low ceiling canteen, deep underground, the lunch queue jerked slowly forward. The room was already very full and deafeningly noisy. From the grill at the counter, the steam of stew came pouring forth, with a sour metallic smell which did not quite overcome the fumes of Victory gin. On the far side of the room there was a small bar, a mere hole in the wall, where gin could be bought at 10 cents the large nip. Just the man I was looking for, said a voice at Winston's back. He turned around. It was his friend Simi, who worked in the research department. Perhaps friend was not exactly the right word. You did not have friends nowadays, you had comrades, but there were some comrades whose society was pleasanter than that of others. Simi was a philolo- philologist. I'm sorry, I don't know why I stuck in that word. Philologist, a specialist in newspeak. Indeed, he was one of the enormous team of experts now engaged in compiling the 11th edition of Newspeak Dictionary. He was a tiny creature, smaller than Winston, with dark hair and large, protuberant eyes, at once mournful and derisive, which seemed to search for your face closely while he was speaking to you. This is the scary part we're getting ready to get into. I wanted to ask you whether you'd got any razor blades, he said. Not one, said Winston, with a sort of guilty haste. I've tried all over the place. They don't exist any longer. Everyone kept asking you for razor blades. Actually, he had two unused ones which he was hoarding up. There had been a famine of them for months past. At any given moment, there was some necessary article which the party shops were unable to supply. Sometimes it was buttons, sometimes it was darning wool, sometimes it was shoelaces. At present, it was razor blades. You could only get hold of them, if at all, by scrounging more or less furtively on the free market. I've been using the same blade for 6 weeks, he added untruthfully. The queue gave another jerk forward. As they halted to turn and face Simi again, each of them took a greasy metal tray from a pile at the edge of the counter. Did you go and see the prisoners hanged yesterday? said Simi. I was working, said Winston indifferently. I shall see it on the flicks, I suppose. A very inadequate substitute, said Simi. His mocking eye roved over Winston's face. I know you, the eyes seemed to say. I see through you. I know very well why you didn't go to see those prisoners hanged. In an intellectual way, Simi was venomously orthodox. He would talk with a disagreeable, gloating satisfaction of helicopter raids on enemy villages, the trial and confessions of thought criminals, the executions in the cellars of the Ministry of Love. Talking to him was largely a matter of getting him away from such subjects and entangling him, if possible, in the technicalities of newspeak, on which he was authoritative and interesting. Winston turned his head a little aside to avoid the scrutiny of the large dark eyes. It was a good hanging, said Simi, reminiscently. I think it spoils it when they tie their feet together. I like to see them kicking, and above all, at the end, the tongue sticking right out, and blue, a quite bright blue. That's the detail that appeals to me. Next, please, yelled the white-aproned prole with the ladle. Winston and Simi pushed their trays beneath the grill. Onto each was dumped swiftly a regulation lunch: metal panicking and pinkish-gray stew, a hunk of bread, a cube of cheese, a mug of milkless Victory coffee, and one saccharin tablet. There's a table over there under the telescreen, said Simi. Let's pick up a gin on the way. The gin was served out to them in handleless china mugs. They threaded their way across the crowded room and unpacked their trays onto a metal top table, on one corner of which someone had left a pool of stew, a filthy liquid mess that had the appearance of vomit. Winston took up his mug and gin and paused for an instant to collect his nerve and gulped the oily tasting stuff down. When he had winked the tears out of his eyes, he suddenly discovered that he was hungry. He began swallowing spoonfuls of stew, which, in among its general sloppiness, had cubes of spongy pinkish stuff, which was probably a preparation of meat. Neither of them spoke again till they had emptied their pannikins. From the table at Winston's left, a little behind his back, someone was talking rapidly and continuously, a harsh gabble among like the quack of a duck, which pierced the general uproar of the room. "How is this dictionary getting along?" said Winston, raising his voice to overcome the noise. "Slowly," said Simi. "I'm on the adjectives. It's fascinating." And in the next video, I'm going to get to how he's dealing with this dictionary and how he's dealing with language and reducing language. Very, very good. Because right now we have a president that speaks in third or fourth grade language, and he has a large section of the population with him. And that's because we haven't taught our people to think beyond second and third grade as far as language or anything else as far as I can see. And that's got to change. And I'm hoping to do my part to change that. And we'll see. Until next time, I thank you for your support. Um, take care of your mind, take care of your body, and please be safe.